From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Now at 6, a driver hit during a freeway shooting today in Oakland. We'll have the latest on their condition and the search for suspects.
Intense moments as a wildfire moves towards Pleasanton. We'll tell you the status of the evacuations there.
And we're there as thousands of Taylor Swift fans pour into Levi's Stadium for night 2 of the Eras Tour. Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco this Saturday evening, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. Evacuations have been lifted in Pleasanton as fire crews work to contain a wildfire near Shadow Cliffs Regional Recreation Area. Firefighters are asking people to avoid the area near Stanley Boulevard and Valley Avenue. You can see the smoke here from the Caltrans Alert wildfire cameras. Helicopters were brought in to do some water drops on the fire. And luckily, those evacuations have been lifted, but it's a warm, dry day out there in the East Bay.
And it was just breezy enough. You saw the way that smoke was kind of getting pulled. There's about a 20-mile-an-hour wind that's coming in from the north and moving to the south over that part of the bay. And it's also happening in San Jose right now. So since we've got so many people who are getting together for the Taylor Swift concert, we're just going to take a look at that. A 20-mile-an-hour breeze is bouncing our camera around a little bit. It's 75 degrees in San Jose right now. That number pretty much right on the mark for average for this time of year because you made it up to right about 80, which is exactly where you should be. And if we look ahead through the rest of this evening, let's just take San Jose through tonight. So, big moment at 8 o'clock. Taylor Swift is going to take stage, and it'll be in the low 70s. That's fine. Here's the area back here. She went past 11 last night. So, if you got any Swifties that are out at the show, hopefully they went with a sweater. Because once you get back here, you are going to be back down into the mid-60s. The breeze will probably still be much like it is now, 15 to 20-mile-an-hour breeze. And when we take a look at how we did for other parts of the bay, and I'll go into much more detail on this coming up in a bit, the theme is everybody's right on the mark for average right now. And we're about to go lower than that most of this midweek. In fact, I'll show you just how low the numbers are going to start falling for us. I'll see you with that in a few minutes, guys. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Darren. One person injured tonight after a shooting on an Oakland freeway. Happened on eastbound 980 near the 11th Street off-ramp early this morning. Police say that a passenger in a white Lexus sedan was hit by a bullet in the chin. The driver took the victim to the hospital for treatment, their condition unknown at this time. There's no word on any injuries to the driver. Oakland police haven't released details on a suspect or what condition the victims are in.
Also in Oakland, the California NAACP is adding their voice to the call for city leaders to hold criminals accountable. In a statement today, Rick Callender, president of the NAACP California-Hawaii State Conference, says, quote, "Our community members are in danger and elected officials are turning their heads away. Crime is at an all-time high in Oakland, and we are calling on the mayor to step up and work with the Oakland branch to address this critical issue and call for a state of emergency." This comes as the Oakland branch of the NAACP and Bishop Bob Jackson, pastor of Oakland's biggest church, sent out a letter demanding accountability and more police patrols. They say an emergency declaration could allow them to get help from the CHP, Alameda County Sheriff's Office, Housing Authority Police, and federal police officers.
Just out of control. I've never seen Oakland like it is right now.
Grabbed my friend's long hair and pulled her across the sidewalk. The other one beat me on my head, grabbed my purse, dropped me to my knees.
Here are some numbers. Oakland police reports from January 1st to July 23rd. Homicide is down 15% this year compared to last. But almost everything else is up. Robbery up 22%, carjacking up 9%, burglary 39%, and vehicle theft up 49%. The DA's office responded by saying, quote, "We are disappointed that a great African-American pastor and a great African-American organization would take a false narrative on such an important matter. We expect more from Bishop Bob Jackson and the Oakland chapter of the NAACP."
In other news this evening, 2 people were killed in a head-on collision on southbound 280 near Los Altos Hills this morning. Police say that a car was traveling northbound when it was hit by another car heading southbound just north of El Monte Road. A 23-year-old woman and a man died. 2 others taken to the hospital. CHP shut down all lanes of the highway after the accident, but they have since been reopened.
Another deadly crash, this one in East Palo Alto. Police say a man died in a fatal crash last night. It happened around 10 near Kavanaugh Drive. So far, there is no information on that suspect.
In Washington State, 5 people hurt after a shooting at a grocery store parking lot in Seattle overnight. Dozens of bullets were fired in a Safeway parking lot around 9 p.m. At the same time, a community outreach event against gun violence was going on.
We just literally had a training this week to talk about de-escalating, self-care, secondary trauma, etc. And so to have this happen to somebody so close to home is definitely something we're going to have to talk about as a team.
Investigators think there were at least 2 shooters. There's no description of the suspects, and right now it's not clear what led up to that shooting.
All right, taking a live look at Levi Stadium, where the opening acts will be taking the stage in about half an hour.
Our writer, Brea Mitchell, isn't with us tonight because she's waiting to get into Levi Stadium. Well, that's good. It's reporter involvement, ladies and gentlemen. She sent us this video showing the lines snaking around the parking lot. There they are, snaking. Sold-out shows are bringing money in beyond Levi Stadium, of course. Experts are calling the concerts the biggest economic boost to the Bay Area since the pandemic ended.
Ticket income alone is going to generate around 14-15 million. That's not including the resale market, merchandise, including hotel, bars, restaurants, the transit services that are going to come into play for this, the labor that's required, the police protection.
And the South Bay could see more money next month. Beyonce is bringing her Renaissance tour to Levi Stadium at the end of August. The cheapest tickets for that show are $260 on Ticketmaster. But if you like, you can spend more than $3,000.
The last pieces of the Twitter sign were dismantled from the headquarters on Market Street overnight, and it was replaced with a giant X. Devin Feely has more on the big rebranding.
It's the type of bold, declarative statement that Elon Musk prefers. Twitter is now X. But much like X represents an unknown variable in a mathematical equation, the future of the social media company is uncertain and perhaps unknowable, even to industry analysts.
Elon Musk has been obsessed with this idea of X as a company for a very long time, right? That a lot of his biographers and whatnot have written about how he really has this interest in it. And when he was at PayPal, right, I think a couple of decades ago, he wanted to bring X alive as this kind of central app where everything happened.
Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion, a good chunk of it his own money. Now, since then, he's slashed the company's workforce, implemented policies that have angered and alienated users, and now the rebranding as X. Tech analyst Ian Schurer says it's not clear if the moves in total are visionary or incoherent, chaotic, and haphazard, as they often appear.
There is a lot of history of very derisive personalities who've come in, taken over companies, and been able to turn them into something. And so, look, maybe he can. It feels like it's just a disaster every week, but perhaps in a year, this will seem like a blip.
Despite Musk's leadership, Twitter still has some impressive assets. 200 million average daily users who spend on average 30 minutes or more on the platform. What remains to be seen is if Musk can somehow leverage that into the everything app he's envisioned.
There is an argument to be made that even though Twitter isn't necessarily as large as Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, the influence that it represents, right, and that the powerful people in the world, or the movers and shakers in the world who gather on there, is what makes it valuable.
Twitter has laid off more than 5,000 workers since Elon Musk took over. New numbers show just how hard tech layoffs are hitting Silicon Valley's office market. New report from an office from somebody who counts this stuff says that vacancy rates are at historic highs, especially around the San Jose airport, where the vacancy rate is at 42%. It's around 32% in Santa Clara and about 30% in downtown San Jose. Rap legend E40 is set to have a street named after him in his hometown of Vallejo. According to the Vallejo Sun, the city council voted unanimously to give him an honorary street called E40 Way. It'll be on Magazine Street between Laurel Street and Old Glen Cove Road. It's the area where E40 grew up. In 2015, he released a song called Magazine Street.
Crochet and hip-hop may be an unlikely pairing, but if a Fairfield woman has crafted her way to bring them together. Her love for both has helped her gain attention at the California State Fair's craft competition. These dolls were designed as a tribute to the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. The artist, Adiwa Cooper, created them by using the Japanese technique of amigurumi. The display includes hip-hop artists like Tupac and E40. Cooper says growing up, it was rare seeing dolls that look like her on store shelves.
My dad only let me play with dolls that look like me. And back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, good luck. So a lot of birthdays came and went, and I had to wait for dolls.
For the last 3 years, Cooper has taken home top honors at the State Fair's craft competition.
Going to be cooler this week.
It will be by about Wednesday. Some of us like 10 degrees cooler. It's going to be in the mid-80s for the Inland Valleys.
Oh, Andrea's loving it.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be great. Can't wait.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 11.
Until then, news continues streaming on CBS News Bay Area.